let's get honest here. Who really wants to be stuck in a 9-to-5 grind? If you're one of the rare ones who claim you do, I should say you might be kidding yourself. Say goodbye to worrying about calling in sick. On this channel, I'm going to show you how to be a boss. I'm going to show you the tools I use to take my business from a 5-figure business to a 6-figure business, and even one amazing year where it was a 7-figure business. To be successful, you have to go after your dreams. You have to chase what you believe in, no matter what anybody tells you. There's a lot of people who say you can do it, you can't do it. You're the one that controls your destiny and your intention. Because the only thing in life you control is your intent. You can't control the outcome, but you can control your intention and what you want to be. Only 6 to 7% of the population in the United States are entrepreneurs. What's holding you back? I'm going to give you the success principles that you need to make it and to take the first step. The top 1% of American earners control more wealth than the nation's entire middle class. You have no choice but to go after your dreams. I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but I'm going to give you the keys that I developed throughout the years to become successful. It's not an easy journey. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of dedication. But it also takes a lot of hard work to give your life 30 years only to be fired. That's not something I want for you. That's not something I wanted for myself. So let me give you some keys and some steps to take that next step. Success key number 1, find your passion. So many people are afraid to go after what they want, what they believe in. You have to be able to dream, to find what it is that you really want. If you don't know what that is, Deepak Chopra wrote an amazing book. In this book called Spiritual Principles, he talks about meditation and sitting in silence. Sit down for 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time. If you do know your passion, what's holding you back? I'm from DC. I moved to Los Angeles, California to go after my dreams. It was very scary. Nobody in my family had ever done that. Actually, they called me crazy. But I believed in it, and it paid off. Have a clear vision and passion for what you're doing. Your vision has to be clear. You have to be very intentional about what it is you want to do and where you're going. It's all not going to happen in one day. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. But there's an ancient proverb that says a little by little becomes a lot. So each day, put a plan in place where you're taking little steps. For success key number 2, put a plan in place where you're taking little steps. For success key number 2, persistence. I read a book years ago by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. I've probably read that book 10 times by now. The link is going to be in the description. You should read this book if you've never read it. And if you've read it, read it again. It's just that good. When you persist on something, we can study the greatest men that have ever done it. The Henry Fords, the Walt Disneys. They were persistent in what they went after. You as well have to be persistent. Michael Jordan didn't win his first basketball championship ring for 7 years. He had to persist. That means the greatest basketball player that we've ever known, it took him 7 years before he won his first NBA championship. If you're not being persistent, you're not going to win. So it's not going to be easy, but you have to say, okay, what are the little bite-sized goals that I can do every day? It doesn't all have to happen really quickly, but if you're persistent, it will happen. Be able to bounce back from failures and setbacks. Success key number 3, adaptability and flexibility. You have to be open to change and able to pivot when necessary. Sometimes you get into a business where when you get in there, it's a booming business. Sometimes that changes. Sometimes that business is no longer a profitable industry to be in, so you have to be able to change and you have to be able to pivot. We've seen this a lot. If you look at the music industry, 15 years ago, people were buying CDs. Virtually nobody buys CDs anymore. Before then, it was vinyl. Now it's streaming. In 10 years from now, if you're looking at this in 2034, it's going to be something totally different. So you have to be adaptable and you have to be flexible in what you're doing. When you're passionate about something, back to success key number one, you're going to figure out a way to make it work. The best people figure out how to adapt to change. Those are things you have to anticipate. There was a great book that I read by T.D. Jakes, which is in the description, called Soar. And that book's whole premise is about being on a plane and knowing that a plane's whole operating system is you have the passengers, then you have the pilot. You don't get on a plane and you don't know your destination. So many people work 9-to-5 jobs and they dread it, and then they start their own business. And as the data has said, in 2024, 1 out of 5 people have started a business. And they give up because they have no plan. They're literally getting on planes with their business with no destination. You have to know where you're going. If you get on a plane and you sit, and it's an hour when you're sitting, and then an hour where you land, you have to sit because they haven't found your gate. They haven't, maybe the flight got there a little bit early. At least you know where you're going. That's still frustrating as well when you have to do that. Imagine how many of us start businesses and we have no destination. So adaptability and flexibility is very crucial to being successful. Success key number 4, continuous learning. Read. The key ways I grew my business to a 6-figure business when I was first getting started was I read a lot of books. I was always seeking new knowledge and skills to stay ahead. So many people get into business and they don't read. They're going off of what they already know. There's so many great books that you could read. I mentioned one earlier, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. You read that book, your life's going to change. There's a 30-minute video by Earl Nightingale. You should listen to that every single day. That I listened to changed my whole life. It changed my mindset. You have to change your thinking and your conscious mind that goes to your subconscious mind, and that's where beautiful things start to happen when you're an entrepreneur. The reason it's easy to go from a 9 to 5 is because we're so conditioned to go work for somebody, get a job. What does that do? I graduated from an Ivy League college. When I graduated, some may say from where? Graduated from Johns Hopkins University. I barely used any of that shit in my business. I had to relearn everything that I had learned in college. It did not teach me how to be a boss. I started with, as what they call a solopreneur. I started by myself. And then I was able to build my team to a staff of 10. I don't really like to call, people for me staff, I call them team members. Because the culture of the company I've created, we are a team. And everybody at my team, I want to be a boss in their own right. But when it just started with me, I had to learn every piece of the business. And it's good to start as a solopreneur because you get to learn how to do this. I had to learn how to continuously learn. So now when I hire people for different positions, I know when somebody's good. I know when somebody's great. Because if they can do it as good as I can do it, I don't want to hire them because I don't need them. I want you to be better than me. Those were the things that helped me scale my business at a very, very rate. From starting from being afraid to move to LA and saying, wow, this is scary, to having offices in Hollywood and Beverly Hills at the same time. That was me understanding and learning. Read books as much as possible. Success key number 5, networking and relationship building. You got to build a strong connections and leverage your networks. What does that mean? Well, if you work for yourself, you just can't go eat at any restaurant. You just can't go hang at any lounge. It all has to be, like I said earlier, intentional. The lounges that I go to, restaurants that I frequent, all have to do with my business. I'm actually a member of 3 different lounges in LA. I smoke cigars. So guess what? I go to the lounges where other business people are that I can do business with, where potential clients are, even where mentors are. Guys that are much older than me that I can learn from. This is all intentional. When you work for yourself, you have to put yourself in the environment to win. There is a sacrifice. To me, there's a sacrifice from working a 9 to 5. There's a sacrifice from being an entrepreneur. You have it in you to go after your dreams. You owe it to yourself. On this channel, you're going to hear me talk a lot about a guy named Miles Monroe. He completely changed my life. He was a preacher from the Bahamas. One of the key principles he talked about was living out your passion and destiny, and most importantly, your purpose. He said, on the planet, he said it's the graveyard. How many plans, hopes, dreams, things people wanted to do, things people said they would do, died with them because they never did it. You owe it to yourself to go after what you believe in and what you want to do, because we're only here for a certain amount of time. We can't give that away. That is what you call going after your dreams and believing in what you believe in. And you'll be surprised. I can tell you, as a testament, beautiful and amazing things start to happen when you chase what you want to do. You don't have to just quit your job today, but you could do little steps by steps. So you know what? I'm going to devote 5 hours a week on my business. And as time progresses, that full-time job can now become a part-time job. And as your business increases and grows, then you can completely go in. Success key number 6, risk taking. Being willing to take calculated risks to move forward. Well, what's a calculated risk? Calculated risk is like, hey, I have this bill. Most people don't even know what they're paying for. You know how much pay for subscriptions and we don't even know what we're paying for? Take inventory of the things you can control. So when the things as an entrepreneur and as a self-made person that you can't control, it doesn't completely ruin your business. Know your numbers. Know exactly what your car note is, what your car insurance is. Then there's apps that you can use that help. The link is in the description to a few apps that I like to use that help you. One is called Rocket. Amazing app. It used to be called Truebill. This app lets you know, and this isn't a paid subscription. This isn't a paid promo. This app tells you all the subscriptions that you have, the bills that are coming up. I use this as a fanatic because one month your bill is $99. The next month, somehow, miraculously, they want to charge you $129. When you work for yourself, you have to be on top of all of this because now you have to build your business. So, that's success key number 6 in taking risk. First, handle the things you can handle. So when it comes time for you to take that risk and invest more money in your business, you're standing on solid ground, because you're going to have to take risks. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel like shit. It's not going to feel good. It's going to be scary. I've done it, and it wasn't easy. But you know what? It was worth it, because I could not fathom working for somebody else when I had this dream. People want what's inside of you. Plans you have, the ideas you have, what you want to accomplish, what you want to achieve. Go after it. Do it in little steps, but go after it because you owe that to yourself. Yeah, it's scary, but guess what? It's really going to be scary 30 years from now when you look up and you look at all the time that went by where you could have made steps and decisions today to help you go after your dreams and what you believe in. You have to get and fight for your dreams every day. And that might mean I can't do this and be fully in my business until 2025, 2026. you can start to put things in motion today to make that happen. That leads us to our final success key, number 7. Execution and action. You have to execute. So many people can't execute. Look, I had to get mentors. I'm always going to preach mentorship because I got mentors that showed me how to execute. I was a poor executor, and it caused me to never be able to break 6 figures. I couldn't get things finished. So I sought out people that were finishers and that could execute, which is the most important thing in taking that first step, is identify your weakness. You have to do what my grandma used to call have a come to Jesus talk with yourself and say, what are my weaknesses, and write them out. You're going to hear me talk a lot about writing with your left hand if you're right-handed, and writing with your right hand if you're left-handed, because it slows your brain down, and that's the best way to write your goals, because you give your mind a chance to, over time, seep into your subconscious mind. Because a lot of times when people write out goals and things they want, they write it so fast, it goes by like that. When you write with your weak hand, it makes you slow down and really process what it is. So write down with your left hand what you're weak at. And now you know what team members and people you have to do business with and partner with. Because now you know your strengths. So now when you identify your weakness, that starts to help you execute what you want to get done. Because now you're teaming up with people that are great. These are success principles that we're going to share throughout this channel. And we're going to help you grow so that you too could take a step to what it takes to go after your dreams. Thank you for listening to Impact on the Nation.